Hey, happy Wednesday. It's Wellness Wednesday, and today we're going to get a little bit real. I'm going to share um, pretty vulnerably about me and where I have been and where I am now. Because this mom has had a lot of issues. I mean, raise your hand. I've had a lot of issues. And if you are a mom, you're here in this group because you have a child or children with special needs, extra needs, and with that territory comes a lot of hard stuff. A lot of hard stuff, right? There's just problems and pressures and struggles that we have that are different from everybody else. And um, it's hard for people to understand that, right? Unless you're in it and you've experienced it yourself. And there's something that I learned early on that made me want to come into this field and work with you guys, other moms who are struggling and in this same boat, right? Dealing with raising kids with extra needs. So my son is 6 now. And so I've not been on this journey for a long time, right? Like I work with moms who have older children who are still dependent on them. And so I acknowledge, like, I'm a baby in this world. I'm a baby. But I learned something really early on. And I want to share a little bit about my story because there are things that you can do for yourself as a mom, right? To take care of yourself and get control over some parts of your life so that you feel better and these other problems don't just come crashing over you. So let me tell you a little bit about my story and why I'm here. My son, who is 6 years old, Samuel, you'll see photos of him a lot here if you haven't met him yet or heard my story yet. He was born overseas. We were living in Kuwait. I was a teacher at the time, teaching English in the Middle East. Loved it, and I had no idea what was coming. I knew that life was going to change because I was about to become a mom for the first time and all of that, but I had no idea. He was born, and he was born with 2 different medical conditions. Number 1, Down syndrome, trisomy 21, genetic condition. Number 2, Hirschsprung disease, which is a rare disease in his colon. He couldn't poop on his own. It took them about 3 weeks to diagnose this and get us trained in how to keep him alive by emptying his bowels so he didn't become toxic. And so that kind of launched me into this really difficult life of being a medical mom. And some of you here, you understand this, right? We were in and out of the hospitals. He has had 9 different surgeries. He has been blood transfusions and just medical emergencies that nobody should ever have to experience it. It's just very challenging. And we were also navigating that in a foreign culture where I didn't speak the language. I had no family. I've never lived as a mom with family. And so I'm sharing this with you because I was in it, right? Problem after problem. We moved. I got pregnant again. Which was great. That was not a problem, but we moved. We started over in a brand new country. Like, we came back to the States, new state, nobody around. Then, navigating schools and finding therapy and being pregnant and, adding a second child in. So in the midst of this, everything was swirling. Like, it was just very traumatic and very difficult. And I completely lost touch with myself. I had been working in fitness and training for a very long time, and I just completely stopped taking care of myself. I would go and work out because I needed that as an output, but my eating and my self-care was awful. Like, not drinking, I would just go hours and hours and hours, not having anything to drink, anything to eat, like running on coffee, not sleeping, obviously, with the stress and anxiety, and just eating whatever was fast and convenient. Like when you're in the hospital, it's like, cool, okay, pizza, that's fine. I'll have cereal for dinner, that's fine. I'll have the drive-through, like, just give me a box of cookies, I'll be fine. And so this went on for a while, and then I hit this really low point, really, really low point in my life where, juggling two young kids, juggling all of these things, I was physically exhausted, I was mentally exhausted, I was burnt out, and I was not seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, right? And maybe you felt that, like, depression is a very real thing, and I think that happens for a lot of us when we are processing diagnosis and we are processing medical conditions and we are processing the unknown of our future and all of the change that happens with that. And so there is that, emotional and practical side and all these things that we can't control, but there is also this other side that is what we put inside of our body, and the way that we fuel our body truly impacts us physically, mentally, and it is a tool that we can learn to use to help ourselves be well in the midst of all of these other things that happen to us. And it's really hard, and what lit me on fire with this is the fact that we as moms we have to give ourselves. We have to sacrifice of ourselves for our kids, especially when there's a lot going on, like what I was dealing with. However, when we do that, it is to the detriment of our kids as moms, because we are their lifeline. And so when we hit this point where we are just burnt out and we are not eating well, not taking care of our body, like all of a sudden we aren't able to show up anymore with our kids. And so for me, this started coming out as just explosive anger at my kids. Like when they needed me or would get on me and I was at my limit, I was just like, no, like explosive anger at strangers, explosive anger at my spouse. I mean, anybody who at work, anybody who needed me, because I was totally tapped out. And so a big part of this journey for me was getting emotional help to deal with some of the trauma that I was going through in counseling. But the other side of this was figuring out the things that I could control in my world to better take care of myself. And so nutrition, you guys, this has been an amazing piece. I am a fitness coach. I love fitness. I love exercise as an output and as a way to release stress and keep your body healthy, and it's amazing. It's amazing to exercise, but what we put into our body and the way we fuel our body has an enormous impact. And so I went on this journey to start to figure out how to nourish my body better. Wasn't a diet, right? It wasn't let's like detox and cleanse out like all the junk from my system. It was like, let me get all of the good stuff in so that I have what I need, right? Things like drinking water, things like getting enough fruits and vegetables, things like getting enough protein, things like eating regularly throughout the day. And the biggest hindrance that I came up against, and I want you to let me know in the comments if this is you too, the biggest hindrance that I came up against was like, how do I actually like plan this out? How do I make these meals? I have a pretty good understanding now of like what I need to do, but how the heck am I going to do this? How does this practically work into my day when I'm busy and I'm juggling all of these things? And so learning how to plan and prepare meals was a game changer for me, because we can know all the right things, but until we figure out how to actually put that into our life and make it work so that we can eat well, so that we can be our best and be nourished as moms, then nothing's going to change. So I have done this work, right? I've figured this out. I've worked with coaches in my own life, and I'm super excited to share with you guys some of the strategies and the tools and the systems that I use. And over the last 6 months or so, I have been working with several moms through my coaching program, the Mom Restore System, and we learn all about nutrition and how to take care of our body through fuel, food, through movement, through stress management. But there's still been this missing piece, right? Like how do we actually implement this? So On Monday, next week, we're going in. We are going to talk about meal planning. We're going to talk about like what does this actually look like to do this and to do this well, and what are some systems that you can put into place like starting next week so that you start to fuel your body better as a mom. And maybe this is about weight loss for you. Maybe it's about having better energy. Maybe it's about that more emotional side. Like, I've just got so many things going on. I need to take control of something. And you are the best thing to take control of, right? Because when you are having these wins, I'll call it that. When you have wins, when you do the things that you need to do to feel the way that you want to feel, it is just incredible. It's empowering. It builds confidence so that you can show up better as a mom. So next week we're gonna do this. We are gonna do this, and I am giving you an invitation into this coaching session, absolutely free, right? I typically do these with my clients, but I know that this is a big deal for so many of us. And if you are struggling and you need a win and you need to start to better take care of yourself, I would love nothing more than to gift you with this training and this information. So there's a link in this post here where you can get registered. There are a limited number of spots on this just because of the bandwidth that I have in the systems that I use, but grab a spot. If you can't make it live to that time, like, no worries. Just shoot me a message and get registered, and then shoot me a message and say, like, I'm not going to be there, but I want to watch the replay. And I'm going to make sure that I get that out to you. And an amazing, amazing resource is coming your way soon. My team has been working really hard to get a recipe resource ready for you guys. I love using healthy recipes, but because I think it takes the work and the time away from figuring things out, and it is a big part of meal planning. And so I'm going to introduce you to this Real Food Recipe Vault website that you are going to have access to for the very first time ever next week, where you can like save time, because there are loads of recipes all organized out for you, like meal plans that you can use, and ways that you can very easily have all of your recipes in one place. Go in and find exactly what you're looking for. If you need a meal with chicken, if you need a meal that is, low carb or gluten free, like, you're going to be able to find whatever you need in there, and it's going to be a game changer. So get registered and like give yourself permission. Give yourself permission to, in the midst of like all of the problems, have all those problems, but nutrition not be one of them, right? It's okay to gift yourself with something so that you can be better as a mom. And it's not selfish. It's not selfish. It's taking some time, taking some energy to be able to learn and grow and figure out how to be well as a mom. It's one of the greatest gifts that you can give to yourself and to your family, because when you start to eat better and when you start to make more homemade meals versus like, I'm gonna go grab all the pizza, your kids are going to benefit from that too, because they're going to see you role modeling that health. They're going to see not you like drinking shakes for dinner or doing whatever diet things, but like really eating good food, and you're able to invite them into that and share in that experience with you, and it's just awesome. It's awesome. So here's where I'm at now. Like, for the last, I don't know, 3 years probably, like, we have been making homemade meals pretty much every single night. We will, like, one night a week give ourselves permission to like go out and get some fast food, or if we want to have pizza or do takeout. That's about how often it is. And so it's doable, right? It is doable right in the midst of the crazy. Even like, I started this journey while my kids were very young and still going through all the medical stuff. And so I want you to know it's possible. If it's possible for me, and getting to where like I am truly the healthiest that I have ever been in my life, I feel better than I have ever in my body, and just like doing the things that I need to do so that I'm going to be well and show up for my kids. And it's just an amazing feeling. And I'm ready for you to be there well. So the question is, are you ready for that too? If you are, get signed up. I will see you next week. We're going to get you cranking for meal planning, recipes, all the things that you need to get control in this area. All right, let me know in the comments if you have any questions. And have a fabulous day. I'm going to go get all the stuff out of my backyard because we have tornadoes coming today, which is crazy. But I wanted to make sure I got on and talked to you guys about this so you don't miss this opportunity, okay? Have a great rest of your week, and don't forget on Friday, we're doing Friday Fitness. So we have a core workout coming on Friday. You can join me live here in the Facebook group to get some training and get a really awesome short core workout that's going to help you to build up a stronger core after having babies. All right, I'll see you then.